The year is 1908. A loaf of bread costs $1.08. Debussy just dropped some hard chamber music like String Quartet in G minor. Everyone thinks success is random. Life is good. Then, Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest and most influential people of the early 20th century, states, "Success is not random. There is a formula to it. And that formula can be taught to the average person." Carnegie then challenges a young journalist, Napoleon Hill, to dedicate his life to discover that formula by interviewing the most successful people of their era. Carnegie doesn't pay Hill at all, but provides few connections for interviews with people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, and John D. Rockefeller. Hill spends the next 25 years researching this formula by asking these people the patterns of their thoughts, how they made decisions, how they overcame failure, and how they created era-shifting success. The result? 13 key principles which make up the success formula in the infamous book Think and Grow Rich. Enter Principle 9, the power of the mastermind, the driving force. How's that for an intro hook? Brief pause for effect. Hello and welcome to the Anatomy of Achievement, the podcast where we dissect all things achievement. I'm your host, Kiara, psychology graduate and head scientist of this lab. In today's lab, we are dissecting a mastermind. I chose this topic as a step forward from our previous episode. Who you surround yourself with matters when it comes to your achievement. Imagine curating a group of people who all follow a set of rules which benefit every person in that group. Well, one of my dearest friends did this 5 years ago and invited me into that group, into that mastermind. In this lab, we will dissect what a mastermind is, discuss the key elements, and what makes it a principle of success. We will also have a brief intermission affirming that coriander tastes like soap. We should simply stop putting it in recipes. Stay tuned. In our lab next week, we will build on this with an experiment of discovering your core values and screening for people who may make up your ideal mastermind. Now, we already know from that extremely compelling intro that mastermind is one of the principles of success and the quote, driving force of success. But what is a mastermind? Unfortunately, it has nothing to do with Megamind, the guy with the giant blue head. I'm sorry. A mastermind is a group of like-minded individuals who come together to support each other in achieving their goals, share knowledge and resources, and help each other grow. There are 6 key characteristics of a mastermind group, which are collaboration over competition, regular meetings, diverse perspectives, accountability, focus on growth, and confidentiality. I'll say them again. There are 6 characteristics of a mastermind group, which are collaboration over competition, regular meetings, diverse perspectives, accountability, focus on growth, and confidentiality. The reason I chose to speak about the power of a mastermind group is because my mastermind group is celebrating 5 years this year since its inception. And if there are 2 things I am certain of in this world, it's 1, that coriander tastes like soap, and 2nd, that I can attribute the drive of my success entirely to my mastermind group. Shout out mastermind girls. I interrupt myself to spread awareness that coriander does indeed taste like soap, because no one is talking about it, and it should be part of our discourse. I simply do not have to ingest soap. Thank you for listening, and please spread the word. Welcome back after that brief and important intermission. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the mastermind group I'm a part of and how we fit into the characteristics of a mastermind. There are 5 of us, 1 school teacher and business owner, 1 top-tier engineer who is the most resilient person that I know, 1 business owner and entrepreneur, 1 lawyer and thought leader, and myself, the voice of those who hate coriander. The diversity of each person's industry and interests are utilized for collaboration, not for competition. We give feedback and contacts to one another, that can assist each other's endeavors without creating a sense of competition. We have regular meetings once a month where one of us hosts on a rotating roster. The host is responsible for organizing a session which can be presented by them, or they can bring in someone else to present on any given topic. The topics have no limits or constraints, which can mean a personal development session, a session that is just interesting, or a session that is information focused. Some examples of presentations I've done over the past 5 years are your luteal toolkit, social psychology, sugar, and expressive writing as a journaling tool. Once you or your guest have presented, we do updates, one by one, going through life updates and have the chance to receive feedback or advice. Those are our formal monthly meetings, and then we also, like normal people, have what we call social catch-ups, where we pretty much do the exact same thing, but in a social setting. The next characteristic of a mastermind group is accountability. And let me tell you, I trust these women to tell me the truth about myself and the things I commit myself to. We each share our goals with one another and operate out of trust when we point out improvements for accountability. Accountability doesn't just go one way of them keeping you accountable. When you are in a group, there are a few psychological principles at play. Cialdini's principle, known as commitment and consistency, posits that once you publicly commit to a goal in a group setting, your desire to be consistent with that commitment increases. I'll say that once more. The principle known as commitment and consistency posits that once you publicly commit to a goal in a group setting, your desire to be consistent with that increases. The next characteristic, regular meetings, has been the most important constant in my mastermind group. As I mentioned, once a month we meet up. There have been less than a handful of times that there hasn't been a 100% attendance, which is very, very important. When I was at a leadership conference in Los Angeles, this billionaire dentist, Dr. Bill, which can only be said in an American accent, emphasized the importance of prioritizing attendance, saying that the only reason he would miss a mastermind is for the birth of a child. The next characteristic, focused on growth, means that the group is typically goal-focused. Each member is aiming to grow in areas like business, finances, mindset, or personal development. I can also say that there are ebbs and flows with this, especially since our mastermind started when we were 20 to 22 years old, and now we're moving into very different eras of our lives. So there are months, even years, where maybe someone in the group might be focused on being present or slow living, which was actually one of the presentations we had a couple of years ago on slow living and the importance of slow living. But the undercurrent of the group is always the same. We have similar value sets and have a deep trust and care for the well-being of every member in the group. Now, before this starts to sound like a best man speech, I will move on to the final element of a mastermind: confidentiality. This, imagine me blinking really fast because I am this. Listen, trust is the key component in a mastermind group. I'm about to tell you a story. Remember that billionaire dentist I mentioned? There was only one. It's the same one, Dr. Bill. He tells the story from his mastermind group, which was, mind you, made up of only pretty much billionaires, and they had a break in a constitution once. You heard me, constitution. Their mastermind had a constitution which stipulated that ideas, strategies, and struggles shared in the mastermind space remained confidential. Someone in their mastermind group had spoken to their partner about another member's information and was subsequently removed from the group altogether. Dr. Bill shared this story, which sounds very dramatic when he tells it and even more dramatic when I tell it, but it's because he wants everyone who's listening to understand that mastermind becomes the people you confide everything to. What makes a mastermind different from a friend group when it comes to confiding in them is that the mastermind are there to provide support and feedback, should you want feedback, but they are also separate from the situations, from the people that are in your life. This gives them an elevated perspective, and you know the response you receive from them is rooted in good intention, and you can be certain they're not just saying things either to make you feel better or just to suit the situation. I can attest that I have shared things with my mastermind group I wouldn't dream of telling my journal, let alone a human being, and they have been my strength more times than I can count. Again, with the best man speech vibes, I'm so sorry. In short, I'd like to bring you back to how we started this episode. That after 25 years of exploring the minds of the world's richest and most successful people, Napoleon Hill declared that a mastermind is the driver of success. Simply put, a mastermind group offers psychological benefits that go beyond goal achievement. They provide motivation, confidence, social support, and a sense of belonging, which are all crucial for well-being. The diversity and dynamic of the group encourage collaboration and a growth mindset, which accelerate progress in goals set by individuals and the group. I'd like to end off with a note for my mastermind girls. You ladies are the driver for my success and the keepers of my heart for real. Thank you so much for joining me in this lab. Next week, we will run an experiment which uses your core values to screen for a mastermind group so you can feel as loved and valued as I do. See you then. Don't be late.